En los tiempos que corren, la utilización de las nuevas tecnologías, la comunicación masiva de información, hacen que los alumnos no estén circunscriptos a cuatro paredes. Es más, la comunidad educativa toda es mucho más activa que la de décadas anteriores.
Nos toca vivir en una era donde los adolescentes están cada vez más involucrados en un mundo digital, donde la información está al alcance de un clic. Y por ello, caen en el error de que en el aula ya nada los puede sorprender. Y es ahí donde debemos tener cuidado con el rol que interpretamos.
No te quedes parado esperando que las casualidades, la suerte o el azar puedan cambiar tu vida. Sal fuera y adéntrate en una sociedad diferente. Una sociedad que te brindará la oportunidad de aprender, de pensar, de razonar con criterio y sobre todo de mejorar, que pondrá tus pensamientos por encima de tus prejuicios, tus intuiciones o tus aprensiones, que transformará tus dudas y tus temores en convicción y seguridad, que suprimirá las barreras que impiden poner tus ideas e iniciativas en marcha, que incrementará tu rendimiento y tu capacidad para que puedas realizar las tareas con mayor eficacia y menor esfuerzo. Entra en la sociedad del conocimiento.
¿Qué es la sociedad del conocimiento y qué impacto tiene?
A very substantial growth in new technology of communication, information, access, interchange. It's surely a major change in the nature of the culture and society. We should bear in mind that the technological changes that are taking place now, while they're significant, probably come nowhere near having as much impact as technological advances of, say, a century ago, plus or minus. So the shift, say, let's take just communication. The shift from a typewriter to a computer or a telephone to the email is significant, but it doesn't begin to compare with the shift from a sailing vessel to a telegraph. I mean, the time that cut down in communication between, say, England and the United States was extraordinary as compared with the changes taking place now. And the same is true of other kinds of technology, like just introduction of, say, plumbing. Widespread plumbing in the cities had a huge effect on health, much more than the discovery of antibiotics. So the changes are real and significant, but we should recognize that others have taken place, which in many ways were more dramatic.
¿Cómo podemos afrontar estos cambios en la educación?
As far as the technology itself and education is concerned, technology is basically neutral. It's kind of like a hammer. I mean, the hammer doesn't care whether you use it to build a house or whether a torturer uses it to crush somebody's skull. Hammer can do either. Same with the modern technology, say the internet and so on. The internet is extremely valuable if you know what you're looking for. I mean, I use it all the time for research. I'm sure everyone does. If you know the kind of what you're looking for, you have a kind of a framework of understanding which directs you to particular things, lets you sideline lots of others, then this can be a very valuable tool. Of course, you always have to be willing to ask, is my framework the right one? Maybe I ought to modify it. Maybe if there's something I look at that questions it, I should rethink how I'm looking at things. But you can't pursue any kind of inquiry without a pretty relatively clear framework that's directing your search and helping you choose what's significant and what isn't, what can be put aside, what ought to be pursued, what ought to be challenged, what ought to be developed, and so on. I mean, you can't expect somebody to become a biologist, say, by giving them access to the Harvard University biology library and say, just look through it. That'll give them nothing. And the internet is the same, except magnified enormously. If you don't understand, know what you're looking for, if you don't have some kind of a conception of what matters, always, of course, with the proviso that you're willing to question it if it seems to be going in the wrong direction. If you don't have that, exploring the internet is just picking out random factoids that don't mean anything. So behind any significant use of contemporary technology, the internet, communication systems, graphics, whatever it may be, unless behind it is some well-constructed, directive, conceptual apparatus, it is very unlikely to be helpful. It may turn out to be harmful. Now, for example, a random exploration through the internet turns out to be a cult generator. You pick up a factoid here and a factoid there, and somebody else reinforces it, and all of a sudden you have some crazed picture which has some factual basis but nothing to do with the world. You have to know how to evaluate, interpret, and understand. Say biology again, the person who wins the Nobel Prize in biology is not the person who read the most journal articles and took most notes on them. It's the person who knew what to look for. And cultivating that capacity to seek what's significant, always willing to question whether you're on the right track. That's what education is going to be about, whether it's using computers and the internet or pencil and paper and books.